3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody, your next comedian, good friend of mine, give it up for dangeRuss.
Hello, Bremerton. Hi. I'm dangeRuss, and I'm excited to be performing here in Bremerton. I mean, what more could you ask for? Well, I suppose you could ask to be an hour closer to civilization. You could ask for fewer free-range tweakers roaming around, zombies. But, it is what it is. When I'm on the road and I tell people I'm from Bremerton, I always have to explain where that is. They say, I think I've heard of that. Is that up by Everett? And I said, no, it's lower. And I go, oh, it must be by Seattle then. I said, no, it's lower. I said, well, like Tacoma? I said, no, it's like way, 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 way down below the poverty level. Below all the hopes and dreams and expectations. I think the motto of Bremerton is, Bremerton is beautiful in your rearview mirror. Bremerton, where hopes become restraining orders. And vacations become just long-term lockup. Actually, Bremerton's really progressive. They're a lot more progressive than they're given credit for. I mean, we were way ahead of that whole body positivity curve. People in Bremerton pretty much gave up on what they looked like back in the 80s. They didn't quit eating, though. Don't argue with me about that, because you guys earned a nationally recognized nickname of Bremelo for a reason. Southwest Airlines has just started offering oversized passengers. If they pay for one full-size seat, they get an additional overflow seat at no additional charge. And I don't know what you guys all feel about that. I kind of halfway expected to see a live reenactment of Fantasia with the hippos dancing in the street. I was a little disappointed, frankly, when that didn't happen. Personally, I'm all for it. I'm not a big guy myself. I mean, I have to carry rolls of quarters in my pocket just to activate the automatic doors at the supermarket. I'm kind of what you'd consider compact. But I pay full price for my seat. And I've been squished behind these oversized passengers before. And it's a lot like what you picture the Star Wars garbage scene, trash mashing scene is. Sitting there, there's stuff squishing at you from every direction, and it smells horrible. You say, well, how come you didn't just ask for a new seat assignment, Russ? I did. You know what they told me? I'm sorry, this flight is completely sold out, so you're going to have to return to your seat and sit with your wife and your mother-in-law. So, obviously, I'm divorced, and I view marriage much the same way I do puberty. Having endured it once, I should never have to revisit those indignities ever again. My friends say, hey, you should give marriage a second shot. It's taken me 3 times to get it right. I said, I don't think so. I don't think marriages should be viewed like a costume. I don't think you should just go into the fitting room with an armload of garments in there and start trying stuff on, throwing everything out to the go-back rack until you find something that makes you look like you have a nice ass. So marriage isn't for me. It's not for me. But I do have a girlfriend. I did promise that I wasn't discuss any of our personal failures up here on stage, unless, of course, I thought I could get a laugh out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and spill all the tea here. So we're exploring a little bit, and I figured out that, actually, I found out I like to have sex in strange places with my girlfriend. Does anybody else like to have sex in weird places with my girlfriend? Come on, not right now, guys. It's really distracting when I'm during the show here. So. Actually, she is a little bit of a freak, though. She's into the rough stuff. She's into the S&M and bondage stuff. And I'm really not into that, but I can't say much because my hands are tied. So. I do have a really good friend. She's what I call a militant vegan. She stands up, very staunch in her vegan ways. And even throughout the entire term of her pregnancy, she insisted on eating nothing but vegan food. And I know this is controversial. We argued about it quite a bit. She said, there's studies that say a child can get all the nutrients they need from a strictly vegan diet. And I said, well, I pointed out there's other studies that show that same child is much more likely to be born with severe brain damage. So what if that old axiom proves true, that you are what you eat? Who the hell wants to be a vegetable? I said, all right, but it's your body, it's your baby, you do you. She said, that's right. I said, how can you do this to me? She looked at me and says, you? What am I doing to you? I said, well, hear me out. Let's say, worst case scenario, your baby is born and he is completely brain dead, zero activity. What do you expect Uncle Russ to do? Two questions here. Am I supposed to buy you a child seat or a veggie tray? And am I supposed to arrange to have the child baptized or just tossed with a light vinaigrette?
So, since you're all here, it looks like you at least survived one more holiday shopping season. You should give yourselves a hand for that. That's not easy to do. So congratulations for surviving that. I was out doing some Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. Don't judge me. I wasn't the only one out there. That was part of the problem. Everybody was out there. I was in Silverdale. I was out by Costco. I was shopping. And there were crowds everywhere. There was cars, there was people, there was lines. And then I saw this business that was apparently open, and there were no cars in the parking lot, no people in the store. The store said KidSap, Orthotics, and Prosthetics. I thought, what a perfect place to finish my Christmas shopping. So I zoomed across the lot, easy to park, pulled in there. They had a big sign in the window, real festive. It said, walk-ins welcome. That seemed a little unnecessarily cruel, but okay. Must have been in the car a little too long. I got out and was limping a little bit, and I got in, I walked in the door, and the gal behind the counter greeted me and said, hi, can I help you? I said, yeah. I wanted to see what you had in artificial legs. She says, okay. She looks over the counter and says, is it your right leg? I said, oh, it doesn't matter. She goes, it doesn't matter? I said, oh, no, it's not for me. I was just looking for some stocking stuffers, and I was hoping I wouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for them. She growled at me kind of and stormed off to the back in there. Her boss must have set her straight and said, Jesus Christ, we're up to our prosthetic eyeballs and spare limbs. Get out there and help him. So she came out with an armload of legs. She didn't give me the hookup. Offered me a hand out to the car. She even slipped me her digits. It's customer service like that that will keep KidSap orthotic. Will always have a leg up on the competition.
And that was always one of my goals at the beginning of this. I wanted to be able to perform for the troops too. Every comic I've talked to said that's their greatest achievement, is to be able to go out and perform for the troops. Nothing made them feel more fulfilled, made them feel better than getting to perform for the troops. And I wanted to perform for the troops too. So every time I encountered one of these guys who got a chance to perform for the troops, I tried to interview and ask them, what kind of stuff worked? What kind of material really worked for you? And you know what? got some bad advice. And what they told me is, these kids, not only do they want to laugh, but more than that, they want to know that you think they're an adult. They want to know that you respect them like an adult. They're out there risking themselves. They're out there every day putting it on the line. And they want to know that you respect them as an adult. So you're pulling punches. Give them the rudest, bloodiest, most bluest show you can. And I said, whoa. That's not really my style, but that's what it takes. I really want to perform for the troops. So me and the 6-year-old, we sat down, we wrote up a raunchiest set. I'm embarrassed to say that I even wrote some of that stuff. I even co-wrote, signed off on it. I couldn't tell any of those jokes. I could even run out of town here. But I finally got my opportunity to perform in front of the troops. And I marched up there, and I committed. I committed 100%. I went into that routine, and I told every joke. Oh, it went over horrible. It went over so bad, I can't even tell you how bad it was. Bad. I'm probably never, ever going to get performed for the troops again. In fact, according to the letter I got from the Girl Scouts of America, I'm not even allowed to come within 500 feet of the stand, and why ain't you listen to this? 500 feet, really 500 feet, I'm good.
I was headed home from shopping, and I always have something to look forward to. And when I get home, there's always going to be somebody there who's excited to see me. My dog absolutely loses his freaking mind when I walk through that door. I walk through the door and he's quivering. He is so excited to see me. He is my buddy. We do everything together. My ex-girlfriend and I were talking about this one day. She goes, he absolutely adores you. He hangs on you. You do everything together. I said, have you noticed that he sleeps on the cold, hard floor right in front of my door? He forgoes this really nice, fluffy bed that I bought him, and he'll sleep right on the cold door because he's afraid that he's going to miss me if I get up and leave the room. She goes, aww. She goes, that's because you make him feel safe. You make him feel loved. So I can relate to that. Bitch, that's going to be really weird if I find you laying on the floor outside my door. Especially when I bought you that really nice crate. Now get over there and lay down and roll over, and maybe I'll throw you a bone after a while. She growled at me just like that. She did. So I reached out and I scratched her behind the ear. Her leg started twitching. She peed a little bit on the floor. She looked at me all embarrassed. And I looked at her, and I reached out and I grabbed her head and I rubbed her nose and said, throw her outside. I'm not going to put up with that.
My girlfriend's doing it. She's doing it for a lot of reasons. First off, I got to tell you, she is disabled. I don't want to overplay that. She's not like really disabled. She's just a little disabled. She's a little disabled. She has something called chronic tinnitus. Have you heard about this? I mean, it sounds terrible. From what she told me, anyway, it's this terrible sound. It's this constant ringing and hissing in the background that only she can hear. Sounds legit. I mean, if I don't hear anything, I'm just the selfish bastard. Wasn't paying attention. She hears something. She's got a polysyllabic ailment that covers her. Whatever, it's not about that. We've got these friends. They've got these two adorable little girls. They're always wanting to come up and whisper secrets in her ear. And she has no clue what you're saying, but they don't know that. Give them time for it. I promise you, for sure I say it. She got called out the other day. As one of the little girls came up and whispered something to her, she asked her about it afterwards. She had to make, honey, I can't hear what you're saying. I have no idea what you told her. And then explain to the situation. Look, do you know what tinnitus is? Yeah. Tonight is Wednesday. My girlfriend was kind of confused. She was yeah, tonight's Wednesday. Honey, do you know what tonight is? Well, the little girl's really confused. She looks at her. Let's tell you. Tonight is Wednesday. And it takes a minute for my girlfriend to realize that she's in some kind of a who's on first loop, and she's got to get herself out of this. She goes, all right, let me explain this to you. She goes, okay, I can't hear you because I've got this permanent ring in my ear, and I can't hear quite clearly. The girl looks at her and says, she's the dumbest human on the planet. Well, why don't you just take the earring out then? A little about me. I'll be 58 years old this year. 58 years old. And I just accepted a cage match with a 22-year-old. I know that's the first thing you thought when I walked up here. You thought, that guy looks like a professional cage fighter. Nah, come on. I saw that. You thought that guy looks like a Tootsie Pop with arms. You thought that guy looks like Mr. Clean's methed out cousin, Mr. You should probably call before you come out. You thought that guy looks like he probably carries around 2 rolls of quarters in each pocket just so he can activate the automatic door at the supermarket. That's what you thought. But I guarantee you, if any of you charges the stage up here and tries to Will Smith me, I will not hesitate to drop kicking any of you off the stage. I have actually studied martial arts my entire life. So I was thinking, you know, I'm almost 60 years old. Maybe it's time for me to slow down. Maybe it's time to stop getting kicked in the head and take the brain damage. So I was sitting down and thought maybe I should focus on my common career. Sit down and do some writing. And I'm sitting back and I'm doing some writing, and I'm watching the Oscars in the background, and I watch that and I think, holy smokes. Maybe cage fighting isn't as dangerous as stand-up comedy after all. So now I'm fighting this 22-year-old kid. And he's trying to get inside my head. He's trying to intimidate me. You know, that's a little like your grandkid trying to intimidate grandpa. You know how well that's going to be. And he says, you know, old man, I'm going to mop the floor with your face. I said, well, you're going to be pretty disappointed. What do you mean? Well, you're going to have a tough time getting in all those quarters. It's an octagon. There's 8 quarters. It's just not going to work out. They look confused. You should look confused. I was confused. It's a weird thing. What are we doing? There's 2 guys locked in a cage in their underwear, and they're fighting over a belt. A belt? Really? I can't remember the last time I was sitting around in my underwear and I thought, you know what? What I could really use right now is a nice belt. Maybe I can make it like 10 or 12 times bigger than a normal belt. Maybe I can put some big brass plaques on the front, just fasten around behind so I can wear it over my underwear. That would be pretty slick. That would certainly be worth some fighting over, wouldn't it? Well, hear me out. I have another idea. Maybe we could just find a pair of pants that actually fit. Doesn't that make more sense? It'd be easier to tell the victor, right? At the end of the fight, the guy gets pants, he obviously won. The guy that has to do the walk of shame out of the octagon in his underwear, freaking loser, right? This is all weird, but comes down to it, I'm going to fight this kid in a couple weeks, and coincidentally, in 2 weeks is when I'll be kicking off the humorous, black-eyed, bruised, and confused comedy tour. It's just a weird coincidence. I don't know why it's kicking off.
She's always telling me that I'm childish too. She used to always tell me I was childish. I don't even know what the heck does that mean? I'm childish. I mean, I suppose I've been known to do some childish things, you know, like, for example, I like to skip rocks. You ever skip rocks? Well, that's kind of fun. You have to tick, 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 tick. See how many times you can make it skip? That's fun, right? I was skipping rocks one day, And she lost her freaking mind. She started screaming at me. What is that all about? And it might have had something to do with the fact she was still in the bathtub when I was skipping the rocks. Bounced one right off her forehead. It worked a lot better in the old place because we had a garden tub, you know, and you could actually almost get a good skip or two. New place, we've got one of those combined shower tub units with the big glass doors in there, so I actually have to climb up on top of the toilet, rely more on a ricochet as I bounce the rock off there to hit it.
So on the way here, I had to entertain dangeRuss. So I stopped through the drive-thru and I placed what I thought was a pretty simple order. I ordered a burger, fries, and a Coke. Seems pretty straightforward. The response I got, So I repeated my order. Like a burger, fries, and a Coke, please. I hear, through the loudspeaker. I had to repeat the order 6 times. And I thought, what is going on? Who have they hired here? I couldn't wait to pull around the drive-thru and see what this character was, who was obviously a few crackers short of a barrel. And I pulled around the drive-thru and I looked in, and it was immediately obvious that the guy wasn't just stupid. He'd been apparently out sampling some of this new legal cannabis. And he was simply too high to navigate a simple situation. I understood that. I had to cut him a little bit of slack. I kind of backed off a little bit because, you know, I used to smoke pot myself. And I was like way back over there behind the dumpster about 10 minutes ago. It inspired me. I thought I need to go out and check out one of these new legal marijuana stores. Have you guys been into any of these? Have you seen the inside of one of these yet? Oh, holy smokes, what is that? I walked in there, I thought I was going to buy some pot. I was familiar with 2 kinds of pot. When I bought pot, there was 2 kinds. There was half pot, don't have pot. First kind was always much better. I walked in here and they have smokables, edibles, topicals. They have roll-on pot. Who in the heck needs roll-on pot? I walked up to the counter and the guy goes, "Can I help you?" I said, "I don't know, this is all kind of confusing." He says, "Well, I've got over 400 kinds of pot here." "Do you have anything to help me get over the anxiety of choosing between 400 different kinds of pot?" He said, "Well, let me show you what's going on." I said, "Let me just look around." He goes, "Well, let me show you what's going on." He showed me one of the packages and showed me that it's got the name and the potency and what type it is and what kind of effects it should have. And at the bottom, it actually showed accurate weight. What the heck is that? That's not how you buy pot. I freaked out and ran out the door. I remember how to buy pot. I think it was one of the first times I bought pot. My buddy, we'll call him Not Rick. Not Rick was working, he was working late, he called me and asked me if I could stop by and pick up a quarter ounce of pot for him. Not Rick's a good buddy, no problem. So I turned to my friend and I said, "Hey, we've got a mission." So he did what you were supposed to do. We went down to 7-Eleven. We found the Camaro with the 2 tinted dark windows and the 2 loud stereo. And I walked up to the window and did this. Window rolls down just a little bit. I handed up money to buy a quarter ounce of pop through the window. 30 seconds later, a little sandwich bag comes out. You hope it's not oregano. You hope it's remotely close to the amount that you just paid for, but it is what it is. There's no givesy-backsies. So I didn't even look at it. I go to the car, climb in the car, toss it over to my partner in the seat next to me, go to start the car. Suddenly the car smelled filled with this pungent aroma, this skunky smell. And I hear this audible gasp from the seat next to me. I look over to see my partner there with the bag open, looking inside the bag, and there's this glow emanating the sound of angels. Oh! I avert my eyes at first. Slowly, I screw my courage up, I reach over, I reach into the bag, and I pull out this single quarter-inch bud. And it looks like a little Christmas tree, a little artificially flocked Christmas tree. It's all sparkly and shiny, and it's just absolutely amazing and beautiful. And I knew one thing instantly. It was never going to make it to not Rick. So I looked over at my partner, he looked at me, and at the same time, we spoke the same word. The only word you could possibly say in a situation like that. Road trip. So I fired up the car, he sparked up, we start smoking, we start driving. After the first hit, we realized this is something really, really, really good. We're getting ridiculously high, preposterously high. We decide after a little while down the road that we ought to figure out a destination. I'm thinking about it and go, I know. Let's invade Canada! Oh, Canada! Seemed like a good idea at the time. So we start heading north. We're driving north, we're smoking, we're driving, we're smoking, we're driving. We're getting higher and higher and higher. And we're also getting a little bit more paranoid. As we start getting up closer to the border, we decide it might not be a great idea to try and transport this across international lines. But we're problem solvers. So we decided to smoke it all. So we did. We smoked it all. We're smoking, we're driving, we're smoking, we're driving. Right as we get up to the border, we finish the last of it. We roll up to the border crossing, roll the window down. Clouds of smoke come billowing out of the car like Jeff Spicoli's van. We're waving it out. Guard's waving it back at us. We're waving it out. He's waving it back. He's speaking in Canadian. He says something. Who knows what it is? We are blasted out of our minds, and we're laughing, giggling. And I finally think he just gets tired of this, these screwy Americans, and waves us on through. We're pretty proud of ourselves. We think we've really pulled something off. We're driving down the road. We're about a mile down the road. We're still patting ourselves on the back. And suddenly, up ahead of us, this light starts flashing. And it says, too high, pull over, too high, pull over. And I look at my partner and I said, oh my God, they have stealth technology here in Canada, they know. So I slowed the car down, started to pull over, and suddenly there's this semi comes ripping past us, almost takes us out, cuts in front of us and takes the exit that we were almost blocking. Because apparently his load was too high to make it under the overpass. And we were too high to navigate a simple situation. Anyway, that's about all I've got up here for tonight. I thank you very much for letting me stand up here playing on the stage tonight. I'm surprised every time somebody hands me a microphone. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but take care of the wait staff.
That's my time, guys. Thank you very much. I'm Russ.
Keep that going for Russ, everybody. That was fucking great.